Oh man, a vlog for my YouTube channel. This is something I have not done in a long time. It feels really weird to do it again. I'll probably look back on this in like a year on my channel and just delete it because I'll just be completely unsatisfied with it. God, I look like shit. It's sort of a nice day out today, although it's really like kind of gray, bluish looking. I don't know. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's good for this time of year considering it's like mid-October now, so I suppose this is decent weather for that time of year. So I love how I'm just filming this with my smartphone. You know, like I have a $2,000 camera at home, but no, I'll just use my smartphone. You know, more convenient, right? Tiny sensor, everything's in focus. Don't have to worry about it. So I guess this is hard for me to formally or informally talk about because it's something that I have such a hard time describing what it is when I say that I'm unhappy with my productions lately, like I'm unhappy with the stuff that I produce or come out with. It's so difficult to say that because in so many ways it's successful and in so many ways it keeps going and it's going to keep going regardless. And it's not that I look at the product and I'm completely unsatisfied with it as much as it is that I feel like I'm capable of so much more. Does anybody else ever get that feeling? Like, no matter what you work on, no matter what project you do, like, you know that you're capable of so much more, and it just makes you feel bad. Like, it completely... It's so interesting to me that, like, pretty much no matter where you go, like, people look at you funny if you're talking into a phone. Like, I'm wearing earbuds right now, and I'm talking into a phone, and like, people look at you. Like, what is that guy doing? It's like, how is it such an inconceivable concept that I'm talking to people on the internet? Like, it's 2015. Is talking into a smart device wearing earbuds really, like, that weird? I don't know. I don't know. God, people. But I guess one of the things that makes me feel really bad lately is I watch a lot of YouTube content. I consume probably, at least 6 hours a day of YouTube content. I subscribe to at least 400, 500, 600 different YouTube channels, and I keep up on my subscriptions. I mean, I don't watch every single video necessarily, but like I keep up with them, and I know like what order things are in, and like if it's a YouTube channel I really care about, I'll watch just about every video. And so many of these YouTube channels that I subscribe to are like really sophisticated, nerdy kind of things. Like we're talking about engineering blogs and, you know, photography YouTube channels and, you know, like tech system administrator, you know, computer networking kind of stuff. And I guess it just makes me feel bad because I go to my channel and it may be well produced and it may be very standardized and it may be defined and even look quite well branded, but it's simply just so much ridiculous. I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to call it immature because it's not really about that necessarily. Even some of the YouTube channels that I watch that are really nerdy and geeky can get pretty crazy and stupid. It's more that all of it is just so bare bones, dumb humor. And I don't want to call Furcast immature because that's not really the problem. I guess the problem is more just like maybe the style of humor, or maybe it's just the fact that all of the stuff we talk about is just, none of it is very innovative or talking about any kind of technology or anything. I don't know, and I don't want to say it's not creative either because some of the stuff we come up with is ridiculous and hilarious and funny and cool. But I feel, I guess, that there's just so much more that I could be capable of. Bit of history for you. So when I first started podcasting, I wanted to do a tech show, right? That's pretty much almost any person that gets into podcasting probably wants to do a tech show. And I did. And that was originally what Friday Night Tech was. So there you go. There's the name for Friday Night Tech. But it didn't really, it just wasn't working out for what I wanted to do. I was way too into music and I was way too into like the production value aspect of it. And it's kind of funny because like some of my favorite podcasts that I watch are just a couple of guys chilling on Skype. You know, here I am like spending all of this money and putting all of this time and all of this effort into really specifically well-engineered like, you know, equipment and studio, you know, audio and video workflows and all this stuff. And meanwhile, my favorite podcast is two guys on Skype. But when it comes to the tech podcast thing, I guess one of the other reasons it didn't work out for me is because it's such an oversaturated market. I mean, you could not possibly get more saturated than the tech news blog ecosystem of just all of these endless YouTube channels and blogs and tutorial videos and teardowns and news and debates and everything. And that's why everything kind of fell into what we know today as Furcast and Friday Night Tech, or at least as of me recording this video, the two shows that I produce on the network. And I've always wanted to do more, but I've really just not had any other people to really do the stuff with, except for some people online. But I never wanted to do the Skype thing because for some reason that was beneath me, even though, like, once again, my favorite podcast, which by the way gets way more views than any of the stuff that I do, is a couple of guys on Skype. But Furcast and Friday Night Tech have continued and continued and continued, and I've been doing Furcast, which is the newer show that I'm doing. I've been doing it for, over half a decade now, which is ridiculous if you really look at it and think about it. I mean, as the modern show we know today as Furcast, it's been going for at least that long. And it's just perfected itself into exactly what it can be. Furcast cannot be developed anymore. It cannot be any more engineered than it already is. It has hit the limit of innovation for what that show can be. And it definitely needs to stop being pushed. Oh, yes. This is what I need right now. Hi, can I have a medium hot tea?
Sure, anything else?
Yes. Tea is the greatest thing ever invented, I'm sorry. So the question is, and holy crap, it got dark. What next, I guess, is the big question. Where do I go from here? Do I just forget about quality and do that tech show that I've always wanted, or, produce something completely new? I mean, maybe I should just grab a camera and a lavalier mic and do a run and gun type thing. Maybe I should just do a simple internet podcast, no video, not even live. I guess I just don't know where to go from here. And, I was about to say, should I start the tech podcast that I've always wanted? But really, the thing that I've always wanted to do is terrestrial radio, like 24 hours, 24/7, like FM radio is always the thing that I've always wanted to do. In fact, actually, my big dream has always been to run a drive time morning talk show, like a comedy morning talk show. I don't know why, that just always seemed like such an appealing idea to me. But maybe now I should enter an experimental phase. Maybe I should do all of those things and see which one works out. It wouldn't really cost me much money. If anything, it would just cost me time. And, I was thinking about the fact that I put so much effort into, let's say, the technical aspects of the studio, like, the audio workflow, the video workflow, whether or not it's bit perfect. I mean, we wrote our own software for streaming just because we didn't like what was available. And I think about all of that effort that I put in, and I start to realize that the reason I enjoy that is because that gives me control. It gives me control over the things that I otherwise can't control. I'll give you an example of something I can't control. The other people involved, like, what the others want to do in the studio. I mean, there's so many ideas of things that, like, I've tried to do with Furcast, and they would get shot down. And for good reason. They get shot down because that's not what those people want to do. That's not what that show is about. And that's just, I don't know. The thing is, though, I can't make Furcast become something that the other people involved in Furcast don't want it to become. That's a big factor. And that doesn't necessarily mean I need to run off and do my own thing by myself, because I'm already doing that with FNT and it's terrible. Well, okay, no, the show's great. I love the show, but in terms of doing it on your own, it's terrible. But one of the difficult things with not just the format to do next, but what to even talk about next. I mean, if I do one of these tech shows, what do we talk about? How do we do it? Is it news? Is it information? Is it tutorials? Is it just me and my friends chatting? Because me and my friends, like on our TeamSpeak server or on Skype or on Google Hangouts or on whatever, we will go crazy talking about random techie, nerdy things just because we enjoy it. Should we record that? Is that a show? I'm just completely stumped on what else to produce that isn't either A, an oversaturated market, B, extremely difficult to produce, C, I am going to have a hard time finding people or resources or information, which I suppose fits into B, difficult to produce. And the other thing is something that people are going to want to watch. I feel like there's a lot of things I could produce that most people just wouldn't tune into because it would just be too quirky. It would be too sophisticated. And I'm not saying that people can't handle sophistication. It's just that a lot of people don't want that. And there are plenty of times where I just want to have a good time and have a laugh. And Furcast is great, and I enjoy producing it because that's what we do on Furcast. But anyway, I'm losing my daylight here. So I guess concluding thoughts is that I'm stuck in a rut trying to figure out what I want to do next. And I'm going to come up with something soon. And I have the equipment to do it. And I think I have the people resources to do it. I'm just not sure. But I'm going to try. I'm going to come up with something. And I'm done trying to hide from people who are staring at me for the fact that I'm talking to a phone. So, goodbye. Okay, so just some final thoughts here at the end of the video. I mentioned earlier that I felt like Furcast cannot be engineered anymore. It couldn't be developed anymore. And I guess what I mean by that is I feel like at this point in the game, everybody puts in the exact amount that they're willing to, the exact amount that's practical for them. That's it. We might have a few tricks up our sleeve. We might have a few ideas that come out of the woodwork, and we might try a few new things. But I mean, could you ever see Furcast having an intro, like a recorded intro? Could you ever see Furcast having sponsors? Could you ever see Furcast having, like, I don't know, proper commercial breaks, or just, I feel like the answer to all of those is no. Furcast has kind of hit this point where everyone that puts effort into it puts in the exact amount of effort that they can and are willing to do it at a practical, regulated, consistent level, and that's it. And that's not to say that Furcast is done changing. It's just to say that Furcast is done innovating, I guess. Glazed donuts. That's good.